Welcome back, Deep South Connect. It's all about respect. We are back at Collaborate on Komiki Road. Today we have another special guest on the show. Someone who I'm proud to call a friend, a former colleague. We spent some years working together. But most importantly, this guy is an entertainment legend in the Deep South. He's done music, all kinds of music, stand-up comedy. He's been an MC. He has done a lot of work in the community as a facilitator, as a conductor. And I'm proud to say that today we have Leo Letsape on the ice.
Thank you, thank you so much for having me today.
Hoe gaan het?
Baie nice, baie dankie vir die voorbeeld weer eens.
Lekker man.
Baie nice om vir jou te sien.
So my brother, it has been a while. We go many years back.
True that, yeah.
But you go back even before that. How did you get started in music?
Actually, if it wasn't for Alvin Castro, as you guys know him, Alvin Castro, yeah, who took me in from the streets, yeah, because I used to be like I was a rover man, you know. I used to be a bit rough. And then Alvin saw the musical side in me, you know. So that's where I started. I was young. I think I was about, say, 11, you know. But back then, I don't know, music was not my first love, yeah. You know, because I still used to be a naughty lighty. So I started at 13, singing at variety shows, modeling shows, belonging to some groups. I never danced though, but you know, I did a lot of singing back when I was young. Yes.
Okay. So you're born and raised Ocean View?
Yes, born and raised Ocean View, yes.
Deep South. Okay, so talk a little bit about Alvin Castro, Arts Vibrations Incorporated to Auntie Anne, Uncle Melvin, how that circle of influence. You say you were 13 when you started?
Yeah, I can't really say. We just heard that there was a youth program happening at the church wall back then, the Roman Catholic church wall. And we just went there like normal stoutelitis out of curiosity, wanting to see what was going on there. Upon getting there, we saw lighties dancing and some having little small vocal up groups, you know, stuff like that.
Okay.
That's where the interest was there. But you know, I didn't want to do it yes because you know back then, if you did something that was funny, people used to laugh at you and you were bullied and like that, you know, fluking out. Yeah, that's
alright. It's alright. Be yourself, my friend. Now, since then, okay, so your evolution. You've not just done music. You've also done facilitation. Talk a little bit about facilitation, what it's like to inspire younger generations than you to also get into music.
Well, that was something else. Working with youngsters was something I loved from because when I was younger, we used to belong to this youth development program that was run by this lady called Wolma Jansis. And we were classed, that time we were classed as least, how can I say, less privileged kids.
Okay.
And that lady used to go out of her way to take us on camps, and she used to go out of her way to give us little parties and stuff that we normally didn't have in our lives. And with every outing we went, there was always people doing facilitation stuff like PYE, interactive gaming and stuff like that. And I always liked that, you know, playing all these childish games and self-motivational games and stuff until I started working for Mzansi. And you know about that, we used to do courses and stuff with other organizations, which I really found fun. And when I came back, I picked up so much knowledge that I wanted to put it back into the community. With that, we started a brass band called Junior Ramblers. I don't know if you can remember them.
Yeah.
And we were like a 10-piece brass band, 10 or 15-piece brass band, which I directed back then. And then we were part of Mzansi Carnival and stuff, and then Mzansi got funding and they bought more instruments and we could expand, and that's how the Blokke developed. With the Blokke was the best thing because we did huge events, Cape Town Carnival, we did the switching on the lights, we played with Jimmy Glue Glue, we did, you know, we did a lot of performances. V&A Waterfront, to name a few. We went to Creighton, we went to George, to the festival that was happening there. Stellenbosch, Frans Hoek Festival, wine festivals. And we were really fortunate as a group. And I just did it out of the passion, mostly, because the passion for music was always there. Yeah, so that was one of my strongest points.
Respect, my brother. So you've done a lot of that community work, from the brass to the Blokke, which was a Brazilian
samba
type of influence. That was fire. Then you've been part of, you're a solo musician at the moment.
At the moment, yes.
But you've been part of many groups over the years: Crystal Clear, Blokke, Ocean's Riff. Talk about that process of collaborating with other artists within your community.
Crystal Clear was one of the groups, young Boyz II Men was still the in thing on the radio back then. And we just mimicked Boyz II Men, like, all that smooth stuff. And it was my teenage years, good years. And then Blokke, funny enough, we just heard about the audition. And Blokke just started, from my mom's house. And we wanted to enter this audition thingy, but we didn't have any content. So, like 2 weeks before the audition, we just sat down and wrote like 2 songs and just went to audition just for the sake of having the experience to audition. Nobody never thought that we would get get through to the next round, and so it went. And so we just went to the audition with it just to get the experience of auditioning, not with the mindset really of winning. But our product was so quiet that we went right through to the semi-finals, which we never expected,
Which was fire. And you brought a new sound.
Blokke
was a very unique
we had like a hip-hop, local Afrikaanse hip-hop and R&B type of vibe. It was great. It was nice.
Fire, my brother.
And then unemployment hit as well. I grew older, then I was unemployed for a while, and then we resolved in playing on the trains, and that's why when Ocean's Riff started. Basking with a couple of friends on the trains, and we used to play from Simonstown on the trains to Cape Town. And people used to know us because we always used to bring that atmosphere into the trains. Everybody was tired of working all day, and we would just bring that atmosphere of love and music and togetherness into the train. And people used to go to work, we used to play. When they came from work stressed, we used to entertain them as well. So. It was we made money, we earned some money, but it was good to put some smiles on people's faces, creating memories, as we would say.
Talk about because I know we've spoken before in the past about busking on the trains, and one of the things I found interesting was how you told me that every time you walk through the carriages, every carriage is a new performance.
Yeah.
So you got to pick your energy up every carriage you get into. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, like if you passing the trains, like you have to know your crowd. You can sense the energy if you come into a carriage, especially when people have worked all day, they're tired. You can sense that tiredness, energy. And normally when we feel that energy, we always used to play something that related to that vibe that's in the carriage. So we always used to choose our songs wisely when we performed, just to grab our crowd. I don't know if you can remember a good friend of ours, or Aiden.
Of course.
Aiden Adams.
Rest in peace.
Adam, rest in peace, brother. And he used to be a huge icebreaker on the trains. He used to flip that down energy like that, and he used to put smiles on people's faces. And we loved performing with him because he had a huge energy. He was, his mindset was free before we even thought of freedom. Something like that, And that's how it was difficult at times because you could feel the dullness in the carriage, and then we just started performing, playing music, entertaining people, and they would show us their love by donating the loose coins and putting some money into it, and that's how we fed our families.
That is beautiful, brother. That is beautiful, for real. That is fire to hear.
Yeah, we were at a good time. Funny enough, from playing on the trains, Ocean's Riff started, and we then made it a brand. We started buying our own sound, and then we started getting recognized We played in breaks of other bands for that quote 15 minutes, like collecting money, and that's how we got recognized and so we got exposure like that. And after a while we got booked for events, and after that we started creating our own events. So it was a walk through time, and it was not all easy, you know. It's true what they say, you have to put in the effort and the time.
Put in the work.
Yes, indeed.
Now you've put in a lot of work. For those of you who don't know, now a lot of you in the Deep South, you're looking for Leo. This guy is not just a musician, a facilitator. He's one of the funniest people I've ever met. And you had a little bit of a career in stand-up comedy.
Yeah, that was fun.
I remember we entered Cape Town's Next Comic and we got to the
semi-finals.
That was
crazy. We did good.
Bro. And we won like prizes and like we were hyped. But you were really talented. You could have actually made a career out of stand-up comedy. Speak to us a little bit about stand-up comedy and what it did for you as a person.
You know, I think kakpraat comes naturally, man. You know, like that's what we used to call it, like kakpraat. You know, like speaking stuff that doesn't make sense, or making fun of something of an experience in life. And instead of us moping about certain things, we used to make fun of it so we can overcome certain things we experienced in life, you know. So we made fun of it. You know, when people made fun of us, we used that as content to make other people smile. So I enjoyed comedy, although back then we were young, so I wasn't 100% sure of what I was really doing, because there was a lot of stuff happening in our lives, man. We were school facilitators at the same time. I had a Blokke consisting of 3 communities, you know, Radial, Ocean View and Massey.
Yeah.
You know, I had to work with 150 kids 3 times a week, you know, and then, you know, it was so busy. Then I had VDB, and then I had, you know, so it was so busy that I didn't really think that comedy should be a career's choice, you know. I always felt like I was obligated to do what I need to do to please other people.
Yeah. I
never pleased myself, come to think of it. But it was always in the field that I'm most strong at, like music, you know, it was always in that field. So yeah, it was great doing comedy. I still do it now with my music performances. I still implement a lot of comedy with my acts, you know. But I haven't thought of doing music as a comedy as a career yet. Hopefully, okay. With me going solo, I will implement it more into my act. Yes.
So coming up now in the near future, are you going to release any music or?
Yes, it's actually a surprise. I've been working on my own Afrikaans music, but mostly acoustic style. Mostly of the titles is like stuff that we all can relate to, so it's like crazy topics, you know, from gangsterism up to child abuse, up to having safe parties, but it's more of an acoustic vibe with some comedy involved. Yeah, so I've been doing that. I've been creating all the music myself, so I'm doing all the tracks and all the instruments myself, which is quite a bit of work, but I'm quite eager to get it done. Just to tell my story to the world, yeah.
Respect to that. And going back to your story a little bit, just want to ask you a little bit about Ocean View and the Deep South. What does Ocean View mean to you?
Oh man, Ocean View, like my whole life is there, you know what I'm saying? I can tell you that there's more love than anything else in Ocean View, although people seem to portray it as a bad place. They are totally wrong, because you know media just portray the bad. And there's so much love in Ocean View, togetherness, unity and strength. Besides all the negativity that people are portraying on social media and on the news and stuff like that, there's a lot of youth development happening in Ocean View. There's a lot of people empowering, feeding the hungry. You know what I'm saying? In Ocean View. And these are things that is not being published.
That's why we're doing what we're doing, my brother.
Yeah, and the people just want, because I think people feed their own negativity by watching other people go down. You know, they feed their egos by watching other people suffer. they feed their egos by watching other people do bad. You know, I don't know. Some people they get off. They get a high of seeing other people perish. You know, but if you come to Ocean View and you meet people that's doing good, that dedicate their whole lives out to feeding other people's children, teaching other people's children, you know, giving back. There's a lot of people giving back. These opportunities is not being published. There's lighters that want to go overseas. The opportunity is there, but they need support, they need funding, but that is not being published. So people don't know and they don't support, you know. But Ocean View is a beautiful place, bro. There's so much love there, you know. And I don't know why people are just promoting all the negative stuff that's happening.
I feel you, my brother. But that's why we're doing what we're doing. To try and bring light to the fire. Do you know what I mean? There's so much fire happening all around the world, but there's a lot of fire in Ocean View, in the deep south, in Cape Town, in South Africa, on the African continent. There's fire everywhere. So who inspired you from Ocean View? If we talk about, because there's fire, there's always been fire, there's always been people inspiring other people. So you spoke a little bit about Alvin, and you spoke about Trigger and his energy on the trains, and these are all moments of inspiration. Now, if you can think of a few other people, I know you worked a lot with Old Mentor, I know you were, for years, Ocean's Riff, like you say, you built up a brand and became this thing where it was like Ocean's Riff. And that made us proud, not just people from Ocean View, but in the deep south. It's like, Ocean's Riff. Do you know what I mean? It becomes a thing that's almost bigger than what you envision when you're just creating for the sake of creating. So who inspired you? Not even just musically, but if you think of people in Ocean View who've inspired you throughout your life to get to where you are now?
To be honest with you, there's so many people that we looked up to, you know. I think since I was born in the 80s, I believe that we were the last generation to still really live, you know, because we didn't have cell phones and all this. The information wasn't as available as it is today. And so since the information wasn't so vastly available, we developed really slow, if you look at it. Like, you know, because we had to look at it, pick it up, you know, and make it work. But nowadays you can just go get the information firsthand. How can I use a guitar? Boom, the information is there. Well, back in the day, I used to sit and watch the drunk people play guitar and grasp that information, go home and take my guitar and try to get that sound out just the way I heard it. Yo. When that drunk timer used to play it on the corner with his friends singing all, you know what I'm saying? So information wasn't that vastly available like it is today. But then I believe that we lived because to us it was mostly trial and error. We couldn't make our mind up from the get-go. I don't want to do that. We first had to try before we could reject it, you know. And to us, to our parents, since we weren't that privileged, our parents were strict in what we did because you couldn't waste money, you know. If you wanted to play soccer, you either had to be good at playing soccer or don't play soccer at all. You know, that was our motto. So, and our parents were strict. You had to sing in the choir. You had to go to small things so you could find your path, you know. So I can say that there were so many people who inspired me in the terms of wanting to do music. I tried a lot of stuff. I tried playing rugby. They fucked me up. I don't want to play rugby anymore. You know, I tried doing boxing. They fucked me up. I don't want to do boxing anymore. You know what I'm saying? I had to try these things in order for me to find music as the passion, the one, the click, you know, where I feel this is where I belong. Yo. This is where I can portray my best and be myself to the fullest.
Respect.
Yes, I.
Now, I spoke to another brother of ours, Jean America, recently, also on camera, and one of the things that he said, which was so beautiful, he spoke into, like you were saying now, you've got to try a lot of things, but then at some point you need to put the work into honing your skills.
Yes.
So can you talk a little bit about putting after you've tried the various things in your life, you decide, okay, I want to be a musician. Now, for the younger people listening, the importance of repetition and putting in the work to hone your skill and to master your craft.
Hey, my king, it never ends, no? You know, once you start, you can't stop. You know, it's impossible for you to stop, because if you quit, you like, you know, nobody wants to quit. But if you give up, you don't fail other people, you fail yourself. If you quit, you know. So I don't know how to put it into words, but what I can say is, like, you work hard to achieve something, and when you have achieved something, after you have achieved that specific thing, you have to work even harder just to keep it. You know, as keeping your head above the water, that's the only thing that will keep you going. You know, it's like I sang a lot of songs. I produced a lot of things, music and stuff. But I always had to. There always have to be something new. Like, you finish the one track, you have to. Like, I do weddings and stuff. I sing in 45 minutes. I have to have the new music. I have to know more music. I can't go to that event with just like an hour's worth of content. I have to be prepared. Like, even though I'm going to do 1 hour of music, I have to make sure that I have 3 hours worth of music. Even though only, you know, to be prepared for the worst. Because an elderly guy, a big elder guy, once told me that you're only as good as your last performance. You know, so I really don't even know what to say, but I'm saying that it never ends. You never stop unless you change and move on to something else. You know, but you never stop. You just keep on moving forward, trying to impress yourself and others as well.
Putting the work in.
Yeah.
Respect, my king. Let's talk a little bit about, so we've spoken a lot about Ocean View, your influence, the things you did when you were younger, the things you're doing now. If we talk a little bit more about the Deep South as a whole, because I know you're also very connected to people in Scarborough, Kommetjie, I think of Anton, Allison in Scarborough, people who care a lot about you and look up to you as well, even in Hoek and Simonstown. Talk a little bit about connecting to the rest of the Deep South and how you see that happening and how it's happened.
I can say firmly that throughout the years, a lot of events brought a lot of beautiful people together. You know, people of different race, different cultures, different backgrounds, and which people that was open-minded to share their culture and their heritage with others. You know. And we learned to appreciate that, especially in the valley, where tension or how can I say, racial tensions has been high for a very long time. And it has been really awesome to see that people of different race, cultures and backgrounds can really like work together to make change or to make a difference. You know, and not see race, but see people. You know, people in need of love or attention or whatever they want to call it, like positivity. Something, people that needs to be inspired to change their life or to get a better view of what life really should be about. If it makes sense.
100%, man.
So the Deep South, at the moment now in this current time, I believe the Deep South is broken due to everything that's been happening in and around the Deep South, and people losing the togetherness, to say. You can see it because people are not so connected anymore as what they used to be before the pandemic thing. The pandemic made everything worse, you know. The pandemic is busy conditioning us, but at the same time it is busy destroying what people took so hard to build in the past 20 years. You know, the whole pandemic is dividing people even more. Racial tension is even growing more because now we have to social distance where we used to preach to connect. You know, now we're at the social distance. Now the statistics is off. Looking at a person different is even worse, because if they come out of that community and they don't wear a mask, the expectation, or you know what I'm saying? So you get class now, even worse. So people are losing that connection, because when, like I said earlier on, if you wear dirty clothes, people are gonna give you old food to eat. You know, and sadly that's just the reality of things. If I can be broke, but if I come to your house dressed nicely, you're gonna open a new packet of chips, you know, to share. But if I come to your house with my dirty overall and my skin boots and look like I didn't wash my face, you will give me the penis that has been laying in your cupboard for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, we get class. You get class by how you present yourself. You know, so if I come to you, yeah, like I said, if I come to you and you don't approve of what you see, you will judge me even before I spoke. You know, you will only get to know me once we have spoken. Yeah, and you know what happened with me through the years, where I used to invent weddings. And then we come at these weddings, then we're not dressed properly because we still have to set up and do all these things. We have to set up the sound and the lights. So we're not dressed properly. We have our work clothes on. And then we set up. When we come into the event, the people don't, half of the people, they greet you, but you can see the way they look at you. It's like, oh fuck, who did we hire? You know. Until we have set up the whole stage and made the lights, everything look beautiful. And we went backstage, freshened up, put on our suits and ties, and came out looking like this shit. And then people, after our first set, only then, people wanted to come and speak to you and say, oh, but your music is so beautiful. Oh, but you pretend so beautiful. You guys are so professional and all that stuff. But when we walked into the event, even the events manager or the event organizer, he was, oh, fuck, what, you know, look at these people, they're all scruffy and things, you know. And so we had to change our appearance. So whenever we went to an event, we went with everybody having the same t-shirt. You know, although we had the scruffy pants, but at least we had the same t-shirt. So now when we came in, oh, so that's the band. It's not like, who the hell is these guys? So it was always, we always had to, of your appearance, like, you know, first expressions last. And it's sad, but it's true. It's true.
My brother, it has been an inspiring conversation. Absolutely love talking to you. I've known you for over 10 or 15 years.
Yeah, it can be. You came a long way.
And even today, I'm inspired to learn new things and to hear different perspectives you have. And I'm sure in the future we're going to sit down and do another conversation.
Oh, yes, bro. Yes. That's why I'm still in the country. You know, I think I have to make plans.
Do your thing, my brother. Keep doing your thing.
Thank you for having me, bro.
Thank you so much for coming on Deep South Connect.
It's a big pleasure.
It's all about respect. Much respect to my brother Leo Letsape. We're going to plug some links and plug his social media so you know where to get hold of him. But thank you again, my brother.
Looking forward to it.
We shall speak again.